So what we're making is apple crisp, actually, or crumble crust. And we're gonna make it without wheat. We're just gonna use almond meal and a little bit of brown sugar. We're gonna sweeten the apples with honey, and we're gonna make the crust with the almond meal and butter. We're gonna use 2.5 pounds of Granny Smith apples, and we're gonna use cinnamon and nutmeg, which is ground here already.
How much nutmeg?
1 whole nut.
Okay.
Okay.
And how much cinnamon?
We're gonna use we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. You'll see as we go. We're gonna use some in with the apples and some in with the crust. But the nutmeg only goes in the crust.
All right, now let's see how we need the apples to be.
All right, we're gonna use this old-fashioned apple coring and peeling device. Very handy. Sometimes it doesn't work as well, and then you have to cut it off with a knife.
And you could just cut the whole thing. You could skin the whole thing and then just cut it up.
You could. Yeah.
If you don't have one of these devices.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use an old-fashioned peeler.
That's what I've done in the past.
Okay, so here we have our apples.
And a little bit of skin is fine like that?
I think a little bit of skin, it's all right. Yeah. Sometimes you take it off, just depends. But
It's a little bit.
but it'll be fine. So, cut them up.
You just cut them in half.
Cut them in half.
And if you're cutting them by hand, you don't need the pieces to be this thin. Okay, and you just have to watch how much, because it's all to taste. And I think you guys like it a little bit sweeter than I do, so I'll put a little bit extra in. No, I don't, but I put like way less honey than that.
Than this?
Normally, yeah.
Really?
Put like half that.
All right, so that's how much. All right, and then this is my half a tablespoon. All right, so we'll do 1. It's close enough. That's 1 tablespoon. Put another tablespoon in
the crust.
The crust, yeah. All right.
Now we're gonna shift over to crust.
The crust.
All right, so we'll set this aside. It's basically ready to go. And
that's the only size they sell at Trader Joe's, but
yeah,
it is
1 pound.
1 pound.
1 pound of almond meal or almond meal. Just almond. All right.
And we want to preheat the oven to what?
I usually put it to 425. Do that.
Okay. For about 15 minutes.
Well, until it's
Yeah,
hot.
yeah.
All right. Our nutmeg. And then 8 ounces of butter.
And you want it to be kind of room temperature so it can break down.
Yeah. But in fact, before we do that, I'll put 2 tablespoons of this brown sugar in there.
Okay.
All right. It's just to sweeten it up a little bit. All right, and then sometimes it's helpful to just
Cut it up a bit.
break this up a little bit to begin with.
You're sweet, lonely, won't get there 10 years past 9. You're free.
I'm gonna cut this in.
And you need one of these devices.
Well,
It's hard if not.
if not, you can use whisks or
Oh yeah, whisk is the
you know,
next
some
best.
people use a technique with a knife, which is really very difficult.
Yeah.
2 knives against each other. So I demonstrate.
I couldn't do it when I tried, but if someone doesn't have a whisk, I think they should just go buy one first.
You do it like this.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it takes forever, and it's really labor intensive. Anyhow, that's not how we're going to do it. But
And
that's
what's
just
this
to show
device
you.
called?
It's called I think it's called a pie crust cutter.
Yeah.
All right, so what you want is you want tiny balls of butter, you know, and almond meal.
Maybe in time you'll want to be mine.
All right, so a little bit of water. All right, so this is the sort of consistency that you want. Sort of it feels almost a little bit moist, but it won't quite stick together well enough. So what we want to do is just take a little bit of water and sprinkle it on there, and then work it around so it really balls up, you know, so you can work with it. Just shake a little water until it gets consistency. You can feel that it kind of starts sticking together a little bit because you put a little water in there. Okay, see how it's kind of, you can
You can kind of squish it together if you want to, but you don't want to do that too much, okay?
It's like a few tablespoons of water.
Yeah, or just really sprinkles. All right, so we're just gonna pour this in on top. Okay, I'll leave a little out because I think we're gonna use it for something else. Just spread it around so it covers. Make sure that you don't get any big lumpy spots. Although if you do, it's not such a big deal because the crust itself ends up being pretty delicious. So.
Let's do it. So this is after 35 minutes.
35 minutes. A little toasty on top.
And you check by just cutting into it.
Well, you can take a knife and just poke it and just see what.
And you want it to kind of just go through.
Yeah, you want it to go through, but it's fine. It's perfect.